me and Tairey attended the same high school for, I think, 2 years, and then he changed schools. But during those 2 years, actually during my freshman year, he was still in 8th grade. I started making music around the school, so people just like started getting to know that I was into it. And then by next year, there was just like a couple pockets of like rappers here and there that like hung out together. And Tairey was like hanging out with the younger ones, but out of all those younger kids, he kind of was like more like aggressive with like working and stuff. He'd be really like stay on me, like, oh, when can I come up? Like, let me book this time, book this time. He even was the only one who actually was ready to like pay for something from the jump, which I didn't actually end up making him pay for anything, but like he offered to for like that one beat. But after that, yeah, he just kind of like kept coming up and like showed his interest, and like I'm nobody to turn away somebody who's super interested at the stage I was at then. So like we kind of just had like similar minds with where we intended to go with it. So we just decided, let's run, and we're here.
I feel like I was really lucky to meet Sam because like he knows his stuff music-wise. Like even back then when it wasn't that great, I can tell like he knew what he was doing. And I needed someone like that because I didn't really know what I was doing. So like he taught me a lot about music, about just like playing. And we used the same program back in the day, which was Reason. And seeing how like he sampled and stuff, like he taught me almost like everything I know about Reason and about production. So like meeting him was like a huge blessing.
I'm very strict about the artists I work with. Like I try to make sure they're all like good people. They respect me while I'm working and stuff. Cause like, I don't know, anybody can get in that world, but it's like we always complain about, oh, this person's not doing this. Yeah, but you put them there because you push them forward. So it's like, if I'm pushing people forward that I know shouldn't be there, then I'm not doing anything, and I'm not doing something right. There's no point in doing music if it's not fun. You might as well just go get a day job or something.
There was a point where it clicked and I was like, all right, like I need to really be vicious and really just like be a young like entrepreneur and just really like brand myself and understand what I want to do. And that's something I did at a pretty young age. Like I'm 20 right now. Like I figured out what I wanted like 2 years ago. As an artist, understanding what you want to do, where you want to go, having a point A and a point B is really important. And I'm grateful to have met people who can get me from point A to point B. So like before I released like Celestial, which is like I consider my like real first project, we made about like 3 like projects beforehand that we all produced ourselves.
When I noticed that he really started to like hone in on his skills was probably around Teenage America, which was like a project that we had dropped. I don't think it's not out anymore, but like we had dropped like a bunch of projects just like me and him through our like learning phases of it. And that was one where I specifically noticed he like kind of really got comfortable with what he was doing. His lyrics were like real deep. Even he rapped over this one beat that was in 3/4 time. And I think it was even a Beatles sample. So it was like just doing like really cool stuff that I wouldn't expect to hear from music, and especially hip hop music. And we still found a way to kind of like tie it in. Like I think that project was maybe the first time people really started to review some stuff, because there was the one song, Reminisce, that got some like good feedback.
We wouldn't be able to make the music we were making today hadn't we made those 3 projects that don't exist anymore. When Sam gets better, I get better, and like vice versa. I first knew it was over for school when finals of my freshman year, because I was horrible at tests in high school, and when you're an engineering major, finals are just like a whole nother realm that I was just not ready for. I was pumping out music back then just because like it was my bed, my desk, or my keyboard, and that was it. And the food hall was great because like I had unlimited food, so I would just like, I would not go to class. And like I remember like my parents would be calling me like, how are you doing in school? And I'd be like, I'm doing good. They were so upset, but like, and that killed me to see. That was like an inspiration because like I don't want to upset my parents. Like I love them. I don't want them to be mad at their son, like at their first child, their only son. And I got like 3 little sisters too, and like they're like, your sisters are looking up to you. Like you gotta be like providing a better example. But like I feel like I have been providing a good example.
Tairey was always kind of like the young one, even around our groups. Like everybody who was like kind of older and rapping were like big bro. And then like so after a point where he started like he just was doing things like release events for like any time a project was put out. Just like really trusting his sound and not really like paying much attention to like what people are saying about it and stuff, just going for it. And it's like once we kind of got in that habit of things, that's when he started to just like take off.
I feel progress in myself and with the people that I'm with, and like telling them that, like I'm like, oh mom, I met with this label and this label and this label, and she's like, cool. She's like, when are you gonna get a deal? And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like, not these days. Like, you gotta make this happen for yourself. And like, you know, I've met with multiple labels and stuff, and that shows them something. You know, that shows them like I'm not just no scrub. And like a couple months ago, I was singing, and she was like, "You sing?" I was like, "Yeah." Like I was just singing in my house. She's like, "I never knew you can sing." And like, back what I said about like me lying about going to the studio, I just like, I don't know, it was something that I just wanted to keep like quiet, and I feel like that hurts sometimes when you keep it quiet. So like now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, mom and dad, here's what's happening with everything. And that helps a lot with helping them understand like, you know, why I'm pursuing this so much. The first project we made at ID was Atmos, and I had to like, both Sam and I had to adapt a lot going down there just because like it was like stepping up to like another league.
Because every other studio I've been to doesn't necessarily have that vibe, even around like Pittsburgh and stuff. So it's just like real encouraging and like excited for just good work to be made at whatever that takes. So that's a nice vibe. That's a nice environment to be around. Being here, it's like I could go in, like my friends come down sometimes to the studio and work with us. We all vibe out, and like the energy for real has been a big part of like why the songs are turning out so well.
So I really started involving Firas on the business end when like the business end was interfering with like my craft. I wanted someone who I can be like, all right, here, you know, just like take care of this for me. Someone who I can trust, you know, who could be like, all right, like I trust you to handle this for me and work with me to push this forward. Make my job easier, and I'll make your job easier.
I actually never heard his music until after I met him. I didn't even know who he was. I just Googled his name, and it came up online. And what happened was I was coming back from school class. I was driving back home, and I saw him like shooting a music video outside of my apartment with like 2 or 3 other people. I think it was Angelo, Jake definitely, and Sam. And at first I was like really hesitant to pull over because I was like, I had been involved in music in the past, and I had started like a record label when I was a freshman in college. But ever since then I kind of stopped after my sophomore year, but like I was always just like on the low looking for artists to like help and stuff. Connected instantly over just like music, philosophies as well, kind of just similar interests. And I mean, we all were like at the same level, I guess, and I just pitched them the idea of starting to do some merchandise because I figured I looked at their stuff, or their social media, and I saw that they didn't really have anything out besides like their music, and their music was already getting some nice coverage and press. And like at that point, I think he was already on the cover of the city paper and stuff. So we kind of just linked up from there, and ever since then he's been listening to me and I've been listening to his advice, and like we just have been growing consistently.
The vibes in the Pittsburgh music scene are just so different from out of town, because everybody talks about there's like this hate and stuff around Pittsburgh, but that's if you choose to be around that world. I've kind of noticed from going to New York that like once you get in the real deal of the industry, people don't behave like they do here. Like people here who are in the industry are real, just like chill, down to earth people. Pittsburghers, like everybody knows. But when you go out there, like there's the egos that come into play. Everybody's in this weird competition, like you were talking about, and that, I don't know, that competition just like makes things not fun.
What I learned from Tairey is like this this game doesn't come fast. It's very patient. You have to be very patient no matter what. And I think persistence is a key that a lot of people undermine. So that's something that comes with expertise and knowing your craft. I want him to be in the studio as much as possible. So that's something that we try and do. And also, while he's in the studio, I'm trying to work and figure out these opportunities, these shows, opportunities, these tours, these sponsorships, everything that comes along with becoming an artist that we see him be in the long run.
Marketing yourself and pushing yourself the way you want to be at this point in my career has been such an advantage because I can throw my own events however I want. Like, I can headline my own events, throw my own events wherever I want. Well, not wherever I want, but like wherever we can. And like, you know, it just works out because I have like 100% control over it. And like, I have a fan base here where I can be like, all right, here, come out to this, here, buy tickets to this. And like, they show me love, I show them love back. And it's just like, you know, it's a bond. And like, I continue to push that, you know, nationally, not just here, but it has to start here. And it's been going great here. So I just plan on pushing forward with that, just taking my plan here of like doing what I want and being real hands-on and engaging and interacting with people, and just taking that and just projecting it nationally and then internationally. Like, my mom told me, she was like, if you're at the point where like you're making money to sustain yourself and live on your own off music, then I'm happy. And like, it's almost at that point, like it's getting to that point.